Nature is wild. This bug is dead. It is hollowed out and controlled by a parasitic fungus. It is a real-life zombie. But it's moving. It's worse than you think. This fungus is called Mesospora. They infect the cicada bug, rot inside of its abdomen, replacing it with fungus spores. It then floods its body with psychoactive amphetamine-like compounds. So despite losing its body parts, it walks, flies, and even mates. In fact, these chemicals make it go full-on nymphomaniac mode. Hyperactive and sexually aggressive, so it spreads the infection faster. Even creepier, infected males mimic female behavior, tricking healthy males into mating with them and thus spreading infection. This is literal fungus-powered neurocontrol and sexual deception. The fungus is not harmful to humans, but it is absolutely insane to watch. Nature is wild. This
Shalom, shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, Yahweh being true name, Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named His only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I give the honors to our apostles, the honors to our elders, a great millstone, Latasha's truth and move well, and citations to hope like just truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yawasap. Come at you no listen to the spirit power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And this lesson, the spirit is going into, I've had a few back-to-back dreams that are basically the same of living in the end times in an apocalyptic scene, and seeing zombies, man, in the dream, in a time of Great World War. In the midst of that, there being zombies, and I had a lot of dreams of that as well, and most of the time I could be taking those dreams and interpret them as the zombies are parabolic to people that are going to become violent because they're completely brainwashed by the government. So in that way, mentally, they're zombies to the system. Okay, and they do their bidding. But also, after coming across information like you just seen, how there's funguses out there that turn cicadas basically into zombies. Well, this movie was inspired by a similar fungus that hijacks, multiple different kinds of insects, ants and beetles and stuff like that, and praying mantises and stuff. And it completely controls their brain and their nervous system to move the whole body to go where the fungus wants it to go, to where it can stay there, anchor in, and then shoot out the body and reproduce and send its spores out and go affect other insects. With things that Esau Edom does in all these labs, it's not too far-fetched to say that he hasn't tried to weaponize that fungus to where it could be used in humans. There's so much stuff that we don't know that this devil has invented and does behind closed doors on the black market in other countries where he's testing things and weapons on other people that he probably has created, taking those spores and studied them and made it to where it can mutate to where it can infect human beings. So the dreams I have are pretty detailed and vivid. I don't have details this time. I did upload a testimony of a vision I had a couple weeks ago, but this one is similar to that as far as the natural disasters, war going on, guns being everywhere, people having to pick up and use them, going to these buildings in these major cities, going up to try to get some type of safety from the floods that were going in the city, but it was time of war. And these other two dreams I had was also during a time of war, and the scenes were like straight out of The Walking Dead and in this movie called The Last of Us. And it's ironic enough, The Last of Us that was streamed, the first season, it actually was filmed in Kansas City, Missouri. So a lot of the filming took place here, where we prophesied from. So I just thought that was interesting. But if you go watch this show, it's based off the video game that came out. Okay, but the basic way that all the zombies are created in this movie and the game is from that fungus. It mutated to take over human beings. So, and that's not too far off from what could possibly actually be out there today. Okay. This is the book of 2 Esdras 9:1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, so you got to measure the times and things that's going on in the world right now diligently. You should be always daily, scrolling through alternate sources of news from different platforms. People upload Instagram posts and videos, footages of things that's going on. YouTube, don't just rely on what ABC and Channel 5 News will tell you on public television, because they're not going to tell you anything. They're going to hide a lot of information from you. So you got to know what's going on to be prepared, man. We're in a time of war. And some of the weapons that are used in war is certainly biological warfare as well. Okay, and you got different diseases and stuff stored off in vaults, that are highly secured, try to prevent people from getting in there and taking it and stealing it. But you gotta understand, man, this devil is all about stealing, killing, and destroying. So he is a weapon, a walking weapon of mass destruction, and he will certainly try to get his hands on to invent something that could, be used as control or weapon to take over other people. And he's all for the biological part too. Okay, so just be cautious, man. Be very cautious of where you go and who you're meeting up with and what you do, because you just never know, what that person could be. Especially if you're a follower of this truth. You definitely got to have your head on a swivel, man. Because these devils, they're coming down with great wrath because they know they have a very short time left. Okay, but the Lord can certainly unleash a pestilence or a plague, or allow this devil to experiment and create something and then unleash it to judge the wicked. So definitely be sanitary as possible too. And the time of this season changing, we're in the fall now. A lot of people tend to come down sick and colds and stuff like that. But right now this devil is coming out with so many different weapons and things that he's doing. You just gotta be cautious all the way around, man. This is 2 Esdras 15, verse 16. It says, For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Well, this is a flyer for what's going on out here in Kansas City. It says, No thrones, no crowns, no kings. Saturday, October 18th. So they're doing another No Kings protest out here. Okay, coming up about a week and a half from now. And what did we just read? In 2 Esdras 15 chapter and verse 16, For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, so no kings, right? So they protesting against DJ Trump. So they don't care. The course of their actions is going to stand in their power. Look up sedition, the conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority of a state or monarch. So this is literally what they got going on with this No Kings protest. Literally straight out the scriptures of this prophecy being fulfilled, man. Okay, so the course of their actions is going to stand in their power. They're going to do what they want to do. In verse 17 is also what to expect. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? They're going to have everything blocked off, roadblocked off, you know, as this thing picks up. So certain highways it's going to have to be, you know, avoided because they're going to have it blocked off, man. Not going to just be able to go wherever you want. It says, because of the pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So, times of war, yeah, people just gonna be killing each other to get what they want. Lose their mind, man. At the same time, it's just gonna be deadly out here and dangerous. Imagine if you got real life zombies walking around and you see, like I said, if you see that fungus has infected that cicada, you know, it's not too far off from what they can tweak something in the lab to make it affect humans too. We got, remember, man, we got the devil in rulership right now, and he can go to as many far extents as he wants. So, man, this is just meditate on that for a minute. Lock in and be prepared to become pilgrims, man. If need be, to be on foot in order to survive, man. You know, so the Lord's will is instead of final close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Karkadash, Devon our apostles, Devon our elders, great millstone, Tasha truth and will well, and steadfast to hope like this is truth, honesty, sincerity. Shalom.